Hello everyone, my name is Jelka and I'm a PhD student at the University of Oxford. In this project, we aim to examine how within and between group social relations influence the way people process in-group and out-group members' facial expressions of emotion. And what this project was inspired by was a vast array of biases in affective judgments that were identified in both existing and minimal intergroup contexts, which further implied that they can be elicited by mere group membership. However, in a majority of minimal group research, researchers tended to rely on intergroup competition to aid this group distinction, or they did not explicitly manipulate social relations, leaving it to the participants to make sense of the environment that they found themselves in. So this state of literature left us wondering whether these affective judgments are caused by group membership, co-occurring social relations, or their interaction. And in order to address this question, we conducted two online studies which had a similar structure. All the participants who participated in both studies thought that they were participating in a two-part study, where in part one, they were assigned to one of the two groups, Team Blue or Team Red, and they were told that in part two of the study, they will really get to interact with other members of Team Red and Team Blue in either a competitive or a cooperative environment, and they will interact for a real monetary gain. After that initial set of instructions, participants proceeded to an emotion perception task where, after initially being presented with a verbal cue, they were ultimately presented with a facial expression for which they needed to provide valence, arousal, and genuineness ratings. Now, in terms of results, we observed group and relation-based differences only on valence judgments, such that people interpreted in-group members' expressions as conveying more positive affect than out-group members' expressions. But at the same time, we observed a cooperation positivity bias, such that expressions of people with whom participants expected to cooperate were interpreted as more positive than the expressions of people who were linked to a competitive environment. And both of these effects were observed only when the facial expressions were ambiguous and therefore unreliable. And finally, what we wanted to achieve with this study and the message we want to send basically has to do with the fact that we need to go beyond mere group membership, as it seems that affective judgments can be influenced by within and between group dynamics as well. And finally, an interesting hypothesis for the future is that a prototypical intergroup conflict environment might be the context in which these biases are most likely to occur, as this is the context in which in-group will be perceived as cohesive and cooperative, and the out-group will be perceived as competitive. Thank you for your attention.